so any second now.
Yeah, and there aren't any
We'll hear her
uh,
say the
there aren't
word.
many live streams on X. Hey everybody, it's Kenny's Mal here. I got Tracker, I got the great Metsby here with us. We're gonna maybe start with you, Matt.
Are we?
Maybe
I thought we
market.
were gonna start with Tracker, no?
Oh,
Or
Tracker,
Okay,
you
no,
want to do?
we can start with me. That's fine. They'll
Okay.
give you
yeah.
some time to get it all together.
Yeah.
I've got Matt did his second ever live stream show this morning, and it was great. I didn't get to watch it live, but I did get to watch the recording afterwards, and I liked it very much. I liked it very much. Let's see.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's share up my chart.
Mhm.
And here we are. Oops, don't move those. Yeah, just want to make sure. One of these, is it this one on the 1 hour? No, one of these. Nope, nope. It's this one. All right, so I took a page out of my friend Marcus Aurelius. He's a really good, he just like Real Blonde Broker, he does harmonics for his charting. And one thing he does a lot of is he susses out what are the points of control, POCs, point of controls, using the VRVP visible range volume profile. And so I did the same thing. Are you? And I just kind of looked over. Actually, I think I did this on the daily chart. What I did, one on the daily chart, and I said, "Oh, looks like there's a point of control down here since October of 174.60." And so I put my POC 174.60 right here. Looks like after today, it's actually 176.77. It moved up a little bit. And then if you go back a little farther, there's a second point of control, a higher one, right about here, 255.82. It's right, it's in the middle of this volume shelf bar right here. And so, based on the idea of point of control where they're probably going to act as support and resistance, at least for a little while. This is actually Matt's Gann chart in the background. I believe. Wait, let me double check. No, I'm sorry. This is my Gann chart in the background. Never mind. But this was the chart that I did where I took all this previous price action that happened where I kind of made this triangle an analog to the triangle that we've been in the last 2.5 years. And what happened is when it took off here, it just like with these other triangles, it gave us two a support trend. I'm sorry, a resistance trend on the top, a support trend on the bottom, and I only did the support trend once, and then just broke out. And then when it broke out, it looked like this. And so I copied these bars and I pasted them over here using the same ratios and then the current price scale. And it would look, if it happened just like before, it would look something very much like this. And kind of along that same line, you can see back then the analog is that price did bounce around here for a while. In fact, it kind of had to go up a little bit, test back one more time before it got over the POC and then went higher. And so I'm kind of hoping for that again. I hope history repeats itself and we might get, maybe it doesn't have to go down to 174.60, but if it did, it wouldn't be terribly surprising. We're very close to it still right now. And then I was telling my followers today on the daily chart, I was looking at the daily chart and I have on just my moving average 50 here in blue, this one right here, and my moving average 75 here in orange. And now, just for reference, I'll bring up the moving average 100. And then here's where I talk about this sometimes on my live shows, but lots and lots and lots of moving average traders, technical traders will use the 200 and the 100 and the 50 and like a fast line like the 30 And I also learned to use a fast line, a 188, which I just used the 188 to kind of remind me, where are we with the current trend? And so 188 is faster than the 200, but it goes very close to it. So if the 188 in purple here is lower than the 200, then we're in a downtrend. And if the purple crosses above the 200 red, then we're in an uptrend. And right now we fell into a downtrend right here. And we've been in a downtrend ever since, but it looks like we're very close to possibly getting a swap to an uptrend. Just looking at the moving averages. The 50 did cross, well, the 30 crosses the 50 here, 50 crosses through the 100, and 50 crosses through the 200. And now it's the 100's turn next if we're going to get a bull run to cross up to the 200. Now, what I love about the 75 moving average is it's like this beautiful halfway point between the 50 and the 100. I took a lot of martial arts growing up. I took Taekwondo, karate, Kung Fu, and then Aikido later in life. And one thing I learned really early on from Kung Fu is when you're sparring with somebody or when you're fighting with somebody, where do you look, during a fight? Well, let me tell you, if you look at their face, they can kick you and you'll never see it. If you look at their feet, they can punch you and you'll never see it. But if you just kind of unfocus your eyes a little bit and watch their center point, their center mass right around their belly button, they can't fool you. You can see their hands move at you. You can see their feet move at you. And you can also tell how far away that you can gauge the distance at all times. And that is what the 75 is to me. It's that belly button looking right at the center of mass so that I know if price wants to go to the 50 from the 100, it's got to cross through the 75 first to get there. And if price is near the 50 and it's going to make a move for the 100, it's got to cross through the 75 first. And a lot of times you'll see price action will like follow the 50 for a while. And then it wants to make a test to the 100, but it's not really sure about it. And you'll see price go right to the 75 and then turn back around. You'll see a lot of times that 75 acts as support and resistance. Let me see if I can show you some. It's actually more on really close timelines, like hourly, when I'm helping my followers through the day trading and stuff. But it really, like, if I just let's turn off the 100.
Yeah, that's also what I do when I used to go on dates many years ago. I just look down. Because if you look at their face, you don't know what else they're doing anywhere else. So I just look down to their belly button area. It works very well.
It
I
does.
haven't had to go on a date for a very long time. So
Well, getting married might have something to do with that as well.
gets you there, gets the job done. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's fine. So yeah, so I watched the 75 and I can tell if price is trying to do something tricky by how often it interacts with the moving average 75. So in fact, today it spent a lot of time around the moving average 75. You can't see it now, but like earlier in the day, this bar was mostly red down to here, and it spent a lot of time hanging around the 75. And I said right here in this little note, if it could close the day over the 75, that could be more immediately bullish. And I was a little worried if it closed under the 75, then it might head for the 100 and it might head down to test this point of control, 174.60, but it did not. We closed above it. So I think we'll test a little higher next tomorrow. That's what I'm looking for anyway. So just from the short term, looking for tomorrow, little higher high testing. It did close that gap just almost during regular trading hour, actually with a 4-hour chart. We had a big gap right here and it closed it here at 4 a.m. This morning. Now we just have, that's kind of it. So anyway, and someone was saying, oh, wow, that's a really big range between 255.82 and 174.60. Like, yes, it is a big range, and that means it's very tradable. So at least until otherwise, proven wrong, you can probably buy near 174.60 and sell near 255.82 until it gets a break above one or below the other. So that might be it might be trading in this range through until October. In fact, you can kind of see this past, again, this is just, price doesn't necessarily have to do this, but in the past, it did exactly this. It spent time between the two POCs. It did start to look like it was going to break out. Then it did one more last test inside to shake people out before price started to head up and up and up and up and up and up. And then once it broke out of this triangle, it shot up. And I'm looking for the same thing to happen. And I'd love to see the 400s next year. This is about, that's March. The March is coming around again. I thought March 22nd would be the low of 138, 143.77 or 76 is what I predicted. And then it came out a month later. So maybe this will be a month later too. Maybe we'll get this high in April of 2025. But I would love to see, I'm still calling for possibly closing the year out, like either December, end of December, early January, and like above 325. Maybe this 314.20 or yeah. That's what I got for the future of Tesla by kind of looking back and then comparing it to now. And then just based off of just what I normally do, right? My Elliott Wave pinball that I learned over at ElliottWaveTrader.net is my 138.80 low, gives us a Fibonacci extension from there to the 271 high, back to the 182 low that we hit on Monday. Yep, Monday. Then it gives us a potential extension. My next target is 283 for the 76.4% extension, but it could spend a lot of time in around here before it strikes 283 for the first time. And then it should test back to the 38.2% fib, about 230, 250. So if we don't get a lower low, I'm looking for 283, then 230, 250, and then, yeah, 364.70. I mean, it won't finish there before the end of the year, but maybe it will. It probably won't. It'll probably be like somewhere down here in the 325 at least by the end of the year, I'm hoping. And that's it. That's me talking about Tesla.
I'm trying to find confluence around the 283 level. Look at my chart.
Great.
Yeah, I have a hard time. Maybe the monthly Ichimoku cloud, the top of it might go up, but it didn't really quite. Maybe like 280-ish, somewhere around there. But yeah, it does make me wonder.
Yeah, it may not happen. I mean, maybe usually if there's no confluence, then maybe it just means that we're gonna get a lower low, and then it's gonna pull the stuff down a little bit. I hope.
Yeah, but I can potentially see it hitting the top of the monthly Ichimoku
Like,
cloud.
I'll tell you what. Let's try this. Shout out a number. Give me a number that you think you could see as being the next wave one top.
Oof.
And I will show you how low price will go.
175.60.
All right, 175.60. Watch this. So all I do is I bring this down till we see. What do you mean 175.60? Oh, you mean if we get a low of 175.60?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was saying, give me a number up here.
Oh, a number up
match it
there?
down here. But,
1 million? No.
$1 million. 175.60 right about. Oh, well, actually, just bring it to the point of control. Yeah. So then, if we got exactly that, then we would get 275.60 for the wave one top, and then 225.10 for the 38.2 wave two low of the wave three going up, and then on to 357 Magnum and 30. I kind of like that. I like the 270. 275.60 is it's a lot closer to this POC than the other one was.
I can see maybe 278.75. But anyway, that's just, yeah.
Sure, well, I could see if I do 278. 25,
0.75, 0.75, somewhere around there. Yeah.
then right here. So then that would mean price could drop back to 177.89.
Yeah.
So if we hit 177.89, you would get exactly that for the wave one going up.
Yeah. If you pull out the monthly Ichimoku cloud, you see what I'm talking about. Like,
Sure.
you don't even have to pull out anything else like the cloud. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I can see it hitting like the top of the cloud that's moving up
I kind of
there
like doing
somewhere.
that. That's a fun little
Yeah. Yeah.
package right there. Where it's
Yeah,
kind of
exactly. I can see that point right there. That's what I said. Like, yeah,
you know, maybe I'm gonna leave this and I'm gonna tell everybody look
maybe,
for potential
maybe.
low.
And it just comes
Maybe
back
check
and
the
back
price
test some other stuff, maybe the conversion or something, and then
177.35.
bounce up, who knows?
So maybe I should sell a little bit of what I've got, not everything, but just sell a little bit of what I got around 200 and then try to buy it back lower around 177.34. All right.
Sure.
Any other questions about Tesla? Or somebody else want to talk about Tesla? I know Matt's got a beautiful chart.
Yeah, I mean, while we're at Tesla, I think we can talk and see whether or not if Matt was us try and see if there's any like confluence of levels that you might be interested in. I think we can do that, and then we can talk about the broader market, and go back to stocks.
Oh, it's one of Matt's beautiful Gann charts coming up. I can see it.
No,
Not a
it's not
Gann
a
chart
Gantt
yet.
chart. It's
It's
just a
just a
fib. Yeah. Yeah.
the fib
So
chart.
I added that halfway point again, the 198.43, just to see where price kind of closes the week at. So
Is that the belly button?
that's the belly button between the 382 and the 236. It's the Gucci right there. Yeah. The tickle me, whatever.
Tickle me. Yeah, tickle me alone.
Anyways, but that's what I'm watching really. I want to see the week close back above it just to maintain it kind of as like possible support again. As you can see in the past, it was like resistance, support, and some support over here as well, and stuff like that. So I'm just looking at that. But if it doesn't really hold going into the week, maybe Meet Kevin's going to be right. And like this 175.60 that I mentioned could get hit and break the 180, right? So we'll see, which is a very, very strong support as we could see from the past here.
Yep.
So that's what I'm watching. Like I'm not too bullish on it right now just because it's under all the under all the resistance of the weekly Ichimoku right there, and even the monthly Ichimoku, the conversion line and baseline as well. So it can't really break above that 204.90 right there. So it just keeps on putting more pressure. So we'll see how the week closes. And if it does close below this, then I think it could trend lower again to retest support, which kind of brings me to the linear scale. Like if I take this off here, let me just, I have that, the GAN box pulled up, but just without it right here, you can see it did lose the arc as a support zone. So essentially, that really means to me that it's going to be more resistance on the way up too, which also sits right now currently at the 216 zone. But when I just use the GAN box specifically and then take off the square, we can see that, whoops. Let's see. I'll just leave the square in the background, but you can see that added this angle here that I've had there before, and that also sits down there at 175, right? So there's even more confluence of the Gambox angle with that Fibonacci level as well. That means it could be a back test of that, right? So I'm leaning more towards like possibly it could roll over back down below 180 now just to test that. Simply because it's struggling to break that 200 level, and even after hours is at 195 right now too. So we'll see what really happens, but I'm leaning towards the direction that it really wants to test this 175 support, which also coincides with that 236 level 175.60, which you can see that was the level it was there for many, many weeks before it broke out. So we see this all the time in markets where things break out and then they back test levels of where they were before they broke out. So that's what I'm really looking at. And even if we go back to my original log scale GAN here, if you guys remember this one.
Let me say one quick question, one quick comment. And since it tested that level before, we broke out and it was in a real rush to get to the top of the breakout, and now it's in a real rush to get back to test that support. That means when it
Yeah.
hits that support, it's probably just going to kiss it and run. It's
Yeah.
not going to spend much time down there at all. So if it does
Well,
get down there, it'll be probably really fast.
yeah, and I think even if it closes the week above that 198, like we see it currently is above, if you ignore the post market, then there is a possibility of that not happening at all, right? Then it could just come back up and retest this resistance up here. So that's why I'm really watching that halfway point, the 198.43, just seeing where the week closes, because just in the past it was a very important level. That's why I'm just paying attention to that halfway point.
Yeah.
Right. And also on my original log scale GAN, if you guys remember this one where I had that blue line sitting around 201, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it still can't get above that now. So it tried to maybe keep it as support, but now it's looking like it's struggling a lot. So that's another level that I would like to see it close above that 201 level. So essentially, if you look to the left, it's been very important, right? So we'll see what really happens, but at least I'd like to see the week close above that 198. Better
Can I request
would be, yeah, go ahead.
Can I request an obvious trend line from the 101.80 bottom through the 138.80 bottom? And then
This one?
see how that, could that be where we're going? I hope not. But
That would be 150. Yeah, around 150. Yeah.
okay. I hope that doesn't happen, but that's what I used to call for.
Yeah.
Used to say
Yeah,
it.
I remember you called for that.
For the longest time, I said, "Oh, it's going to go to 150 after it breaks
Yeah,
out from the top. It's going to fake out and run to the bottom." But
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't want that to happen anymore. I don't believe it. You guys kind of have brought
Yeah.
me
I don't
around to this
really,
idea that it's not going to happen, and
I
I'm
mean,
sticking
I
with you
think the
guys.
moves are getting smaller and smaller and oscillating around 200. That's what it
Yeah.
looks like to me. It's like 200
Yes.
is the magnet, and you throw a ball, and then you throw it up, and it just gets underneath, and then gravity pushes back up, and then eventually it's going to flatline and it's going to pick a direction after that. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like to me. So I'm not sure it's necessarily going to have to hit like 150 or whatever. I don't know. It just looks like the moves are
Maybe from
around.
now until Robotaxi, it'll just like keep getting in a tighter band, and
Yeah.
the Bollinger
Yeah,
Bands
I
will
can
get a
see
little
that
tight.
happening. Yeah, and
well,
I can show you that on the monthly Bull in Japan too, or if Matt wants to eventually put. Yeah, I mean I can show it too. It doesn't matter, but
yeah,
it's getting tighter and tighter.
I just have one last thing too, because we saw right here how the market tried to really fake us out saying it's going to break out, right? And it never
Yeah.
did. So we could see similar things with many weekly candles, like trying to fake us out like it's going to go lower, and then it really doesn't, because that's what the market makers love to do. Like, oh, it's going to lose support, everybody panic, right? Or,
Yeah.
oh, it's going to break resistance, everybody get excited. They do that all the time. And
Yeah.
I could see the same thing happening for the next couple of weeks or into September as well. So, but yeah, you can share your screen now, Kat.
Anything else to talk about?
Your monthly
Oh
Ichimoku.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna show the daily first. Actually, I'm gonna show the hourly first, but no, not
Maybe
really.
the 1 minute.
15-minute candles.
The
They're the
1 minute chart.
minute.
So actually, if you look at because I'm looking at the daily now, the reason why is because I just think the moves are getting smaller and smaller, and it's just been also around 200. So I'm looking at daily, and there are a couple of things that I picked up from daily that looks very interesting. I mean, it looks like it was just like a big kind of breakout, and then just back testing the daily cloud. Um, and if you actually look at the 200-day moving average, we just like got rejected 2 days in a row. Um, if it's just kind of stuck in a range, I mean, I don't know, like it could break down back into the cloud, but I'm not sure if it's going to have to necessarily go back down that far because this is also how the indexes are looking too. It basically just kept down, and then as it came back, and Tesla was actually a little bit weaker because you look at like SPY, it actually touched it, closed the gap, and it got rejected. That's kind of what happened today. But if you look at even a smaller time frame, like this looks like it's it's a little bit of a bull flag type situation. It looks like a bull flag within a bull flag. So I don't know. I think it wants to gravitate towards 200, but the moves might just get smaller and smaller, and it get rejected. It could go down further, but I just think that it's really starting to just gravitate around this 200 level, and it's just eventually just going to flatline. You look at the monthly. And the biggest thing to look at a monthly is to do the Bollinger Band. There are a couple of things. One is the 20-month moving average, even though we're currently underneath of that, is pointing up. And it's very obvious that it's pointing up. You know, it hasn't done that since we became negative sloping around since like August 2022. And we're finally up sloping. We've basically spent enough time over here to finally say the last 20 months is actually a relative bull trend, right?
Yeah.
And the Bollinger Band is also squeezing. So last time you had something like that happen was when, when you have a negative sloping down and you're pointing up. It was around here, but granted price was above of it when it was turning up. So there's always a little bit of ambiguity here. But what I always think about this as if you have a moving average that's pointing up, is probably going to serve as a very poor resistance, is probably going to serve as a better support, And if there's a moving average that's pointing down, it probably serve as a very poor support. As you can see, it was pointing down and it's just very poor support. You try to find a support a couple of times and broke down, got back up and really broke down, right? But now you're pointing up, right? So I wonder whether or not this is kind of very similar to where price is underneath of a upward sloping moving average, kind of like it is over here, where even though, it might just end up the price may actually end up gravitating upwards over time.
That's a really lovely way to think about it, to look at that. I hadn't really thought about that, but you're right. It's like the price wants to hang on the outside of the curve.
Yeah, and it's just oscillating around something that's just going up, right? So the Bollinger Band, because price has just gone sideways over here for almost like 4 years, the Bollinger Band is squeezing too, right? It's telling you a bigger direction is going to come, and which direction is going to be. Well, the 20-month, the median of this Bollinger Band is pointing up, right? So very similar to like when I was looking at the 2-year yield, and when I look at 2-year yield, I'm gonna do like regular scale. And like you can see like, yeah, I mean price is kind of or the yield is kind of above a bit, but it's looking like it's downward sloping, right?
Ooh.
So I think once it breaks down, it's just gonna break down. Very similar here, like whenever it's underneath but it's turning flat. And then whenever, the longer term trend goes up, especially with a Bollinger Band squeeze, it just tells you maybe a bigger move is coming towards the direction where the 20-month moving average is going. So as far as I'm concerned, I think Tesla is looking like it wants to do that, but there's just no confirmation.
But the
Yeah.
last time Tesla had that upward sloping 20-month moving average, it was also above the
You're
monthly
not
Ichimoku.
wrong. You're not
So
wrong.
so
Yeah, you're
it's
not wrong.
it's a different situation this time.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different situation. The only thing is this also is a little bit different situation because we've never really had Tesla breaking underneath or close underneath the monthly cloud either, right? So that's
Yeah.
also the first time. But I just think that the reason why is because the US liquidity just hasn't it is increasing, but it just hasn't been increasing fast enough. So people might end up front running things, but they just haven't really, you know,
Yeah.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm still aiming for the bullish cross. Is under like 200 is going to be a pretty strong resistance here moving forward for a very long time. I agree. It's just
But
underneath.
I still think there's a possibility of closing above both the conversion and the baseline on a monthly basis at the end of this month, So maybe
At
just
the end.
like, yeah,
Yes.
a couple more weeks of just like, oh, I'm gonna fake you out market, and then just like the final week, and then the final week is just gonna shoot up, That's what I can
Yeah.
see.
Maybe even inside the cloud. I mean, it's not that far away. If that happens, that'll be like a very, very bullish development.
Yeah. So
Just a
I
big
don't
time.
really
But yeah.
I don't really see anything happening over the next couple of weeks. Exciting at least, but maybe the last week
Yeah.
of the month. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, that was Tesla. I mean, if you guys want to go through like the whole market and kind of share your thoughts, and then we can
Yeah.
talk
So
the
far,
about
I only
good
got two
stocks.
requests, and one of them's NVIDIA, and the other one's SMCI. So it won't
Yeah,
be
we're
working
definitely going to
to
talk
hit
about
this
those.
anyway.
Yeah,
yeah, we have a question about the MSTR as well about the stock split tomorrow too. So
yeah. Matt, you want to give us an update of the overall market again? I know you just did it this morning, but but we weren't
Well,
there to criticize you, so
yeah, now you're here to criticize. I mean, where do you want me to start? IWM or what?
you can do like SPY, QQQ, IWM, and just kind of see whether or not you see any like relative strength and all that, because everybody is still kind of scared. Like we have this big giant downturn. A lot of people are wondering whether or not the RW Katana is like not working out, or a lot of people are wondering whether or not the downturn continue. So I mean, yeah, it's helpful to talk about it.
Yeah. So this Gann chart predicted the top of the SPY, right? I've been showing this for a couple of weeks, months, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I mean, when it was wicking above, I'm like, is this just going to be a wick or is it going to be resistance? And sure enough, it turned out to be resistance. And now where is it going to be headed? Well, on the monthly Ichimoku here, it's basically already retested the conversion line. So that could be all it's going to maybe this month. We'll see. I mean, if it continues lower, then there could be a lot more pain ahead. So we'll see. But this is looking on a monthly basis that it's back at possible support, or it was yesterday. I mean, it still could come back down tomorrow and go retest it and whatnot. So we'll look at a weekly basis and you can see what happened. It went back up and now it's flipped to resistance, the baseline, right? The orange baseline. So I believe this is just a perfect example of something that was support, now resistance. And where is it going to go? Nobody knows. No. Well, if I put on the SMAs here, that could be a target, right? 4,900 on the SPX could be a target, right? So 4,930, that is the 50-week moving average. So that could be a lot more pain in the markets ahead, where people could get scared. But also enough time could pass where this moves up and then it could just consolidate sideways as well and then just stay there, or maybe go a little bit lower and retest these lows here in like the lower 5,000s or whatnot. But I still think what kind of makes sense is possibly going back like down a little bit below to possibly retest these levels around 4,800, maybe 4,700. That could also be a possibility. But since this was so many weeks above both the conversion and the baseline, I really think that this is going to be a pretty strong resistance now for just a trend sideways to down, right? Down to sideways. So where is it going to stop? Nobody knows, right? And we'll find out. But I think it's going to at least retest these lows right here, right?
Hey, Matt,
That's
can you
my
do something
opinion.
for me real quick?
Yeah.
Scroll, just reveal more of the chart to the left. Okay, wait. Ooh, that's good. And then, oh yeah, right there, perfect. Do a Fibonacci extension. Grab the Fib extension tool.
This
Yep,
right
that
here.
one in there. Oh, and then, well, the one, not the retrace tool, the extension tool. It's the other one that it won't be in your favorites. I guess you have to go to your
Yeah, it's not my favorites.
other bar.
Whoops. Okay. The fib
Yeah, the extension tool,
extension.
the one I use
Yeah.
all the time.
The trend-based fib
The
extension. Yeah.
trend-based Fib extension. So go off that bottom low from 2020, March
All right.
2020. Yep. And then go up to the 2022 high, the one you were worried about it backtesting to.
This one right
Yep,
here.
yep, grab the top of that. And then
Yeah.
go back down to the 2023 low to the right. Yep, right there.
The 2022, right?
Yeah, 2022. And then
Yeah.
now you have to kind of extend those lines to the right. Um,
Extended all the way.
oh, you could do that. Yeah, just perfect. And then now scroll the whole thing, make it taller so we can see more space. Yeah, just like that. So, see, look, you've got one fibs distance between the 50% there and the 618. That's exactly how much distance you would want to see a fourth wave retrace before it went on to the fifth wave. So
Yeah,
this
that's
618, that 5106 level, that could be support.
yeah, and
Because there's
it lines up with the conversion line of the monthly chart as well.
yeah,
So
so this could be all of it right here, where there's one fibs distance between the wave one top, where you've got the the second point in the extension tool, and
yeah.
where we are right now. So that could be, when I look at that, I see that as a support level right here,
Yeah.
5106.
Yeah, I see it as a support level too, especially because it's
Yeah.
the monthly Ichimoku conversion line as well. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like on a weekly basis, it's probably not going to break that anytime soon. Like that, that weekly Ichimoku, which is what 52.94, so 5,300. I think that's going to be pretty good resistance. So possibly it'll just like drift sideways for maybe a couple weeks or months or whatever, and maybe retest, even go back and retest those lows and scare more people again, right? Because those are kind of big moves from current price down back to that 5,100 level, right? So like that would be $140 or not dollar point drop for the SPX, which would scare people still, right?
Yeah.
So it could just go up and down between this range. Yeah.
But a lot of times these huge flushes are the very last thing you see before everything takes off again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing it breaking underneath that monthly Ichimoku conversion line just because it's how positive sloping it is.
Yeah.
You know, whenever like just like any other moving averages, like if it's like very positive sloping, if you're rate like if
Yeah.
you both you back test it, usually you pass just because it's like the velocity is just the trend is just so strong right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, and the next month is going to be even higher for the Tenkin, so I have a hard time seeing it really like breaking down, which is kind of crazy to say. Um, if it does break down, like right now I think is right at the monthly Supeichi Tenkin, Supeichi conversion
Yeah.
actually. And the Supeichi monthly baseline is around 493 for the SPY.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or for the
Well, you
SPX is 4947. So if it breaks down, that
yeah.
would be
Well, you
probably
do run
around,
the risk
yeah.
like of because of how upward sloping the conversion line is on the monthly chart, we do run the risk of the next month opening below it,
That's true too.
you know.
Yeah,
And
that's
if it
true
opens
too.
a month
Yeah.
below the conversion line, then that will reverse the trend. So
Yeah. But I think the last time I see that was like around 2019, like around late 2019. You see how there's a very, very positive slope in tank and it just like bounces up to the support, just push price up higher. I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
I see
I'd
what you're
say
saying.
a takeaway message from this is if you see price
yeah.
not just dip below 5106, but if it starts to really like close days under 5106,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
look out. That's probably maybe sell off a few things to go to cash to catch something
Yeah.
lower. But until then, maybe don't panic.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, right now there's still some downside on your SPX. I could even touch it all the way down to the cloud, which is going to be like that FIB level right there around like
Yeah.
4,800.
Well, I
So I
think that's where
see,
it's yeah,
yeah,
that's where it's gonna go. If this gets lost, that 5,100
yeah,
level, then it's gonna go there. Yeah, for sure.
yeah. I see that like, but right now you have upsides, you have downsides, right? Like I feel like the upside is maybe a little bit more according to your chart than the downside. So it's tough. It's tough for me to say. Like I'm looking at the angle up there together with the arc. I'm looking at the Ichimoku. I think we closed down there, then we are up there. So
Yeah.
Funny thing about Tesla is I used to say, and then after it fakes out to the upside, breaking the resistance trend, it'll come back down to break the support side. And people will say, well, what's going to make that happen? It's like, well, probably like a giant market downtrend or something.
yeah, yeah. There's no reason really like
Here we
anything can just
are.
happen. Yeah.
Ugh.
Want to do IWM and
Yeah.
see what happens, or you want to do QQQ or
IWM, we're
yeah.
gonna pull it up right now. And this is what I brought up on my live stream this morning, how I'm pretty confident this is gonna hold as support, and whoever's like screaming things are gonna just collapse for the small caps. I just don't agree with that because this is really important symmetrically, I think, with everything. Like I'm gonna just show this whole chart and you guys can see this 45, it's like it's just incredible how accurate it's been throughout time, you know.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
look at that 45, like bam, 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 all the way up. So it's like this is a super important line. Like, yeah, sure, during COVID it went back and tested a level, the arc right there. But still it maintained this 45. Even here it went below a little bit, freaking me out a little bit, but it got back above it and now it's above both. So I just don't see anything really scary. And I had that highlighted before because I just honestly see it something similar to back here, right? How it was
Yeah.
just fighting this orange level and how right now it's fighting that blue level. And then it went up to test the arc. So I think it could come up and test the arc soon. and then maybe even back test it then and scare more people. Who knows, right? And then finally break free. But this is the reason why, just based off of this symmetry, I just can't be bearish off this because it's looking super like symmetrical, really. And that's the word I can use. So with the Ichimoku 2, it is below. I mean, everything is below the baseline now. Like that's the trend of the market on the weekly chart, right?
Yeah.
So that just means it's probably going to take more time. But on the monthly chart, everything is still super bullish, right? So
Yeah.
we'll go here on the monthly chart. Yeah, it just wicked through that conversion line, retested the baseline and that level basically. So it's still super nice.
Yeah.
And yeah, the conversion line on the monthly chart, 203.42. So if this trend continues, then this month is probably going to have a good positive close and going to look good for the future.
It's very similar to like SPY or SPX, where again the
Wow.
tank is just quickly rising and trying to hold the candle's butt, you know. Like I don't
Oh yeah.
it's like yeah, and I think this one might be less risk for the tank to rise up to have the price falling underneath of it compared to SPX. So um and it's
Yeah.
just back tested the cloud again. It back tested the horizontal line again. And right now it's
Yeah.
about a positive rising Tenkin. It's got a katana behind it as tailwind. So um it right
Yeah.
now looks like it's actually more or less an inside candle, which would favor bullish continuation. So yeah, I like there's nothing bearish about the monthly chart at all that I can see. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's
So
also
it's
falling
just
higher
like
high.
if
So yeah.
if the IWM is going to collapse, then they're really fooling everybody because
Yeah.
it just doesn't look like it at all, like
So
on a chart basis.
So why don't we do a belly button approach and look at the two-week chart, and then you tell me what you think.
Oh.
Oh, the one between. That's a great
In the
Yeah,
idea.
middle,
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
in
tell
between
me
the
what
week
you
and the 2 week.
think.
Oh yeah, that looks even better.
Yeah, doesn't it? Yeah, look at the belly button, right?
Well, I'm gonna say it looks bullish, but the news narrative is bearish, so I'm gonna go with the news narrative.
What happened to my
Those
analysis?
guys know all what they're talking about.
Yeah. All right. That's all the requests I have, I think.
Teleprompters know all.
Yeah. The other okay, so one more thing. I'm gonna ask you to put one more thing. The bull in Japan, the 20-month the 20-month moving average is like once again pointing up. And I think we just yeah, if you want to pull out the bull in Japan, you can take a look at it. Do it. Do it. Still there. Hello.
Hello?
He
Did we lose him, Matt?
disappeared. I think we lost him.
Oh no.
Uh,
Let's take a look here. Wait, no,
yeah.
something's happening.
Oh yeah, okay. Can you hear me now?
I can
Yeah,
hear
we
you
can
now.
hear you.
Yeah, it was just weird, my internet connection. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me just take off the Ichimoku. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
upward sloping too on a 2 week chart,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's looking pretty good. Do you want me to go to different time frames or?
It's okay. I mean, like looking at the weekly, it's the same thing. It's underneath the 20. So it's very similar. But like you said, weekly it looks like there's maybe a little bit more sideways, but a monthly looks great. So I still favor like higher time frame. I'm not gonna let the lower time frame shake me out, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah.
mean, and yeah, that looks good. The monthly most likely looks good too. Yeah, like everything looks really good for that. And plus like the 20 is right in that 45 angle perfectly as well.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel
Yeah.
like it wants to go up higher. Like even if it goes back down and tests some the stuff and scare people and shake people out, it's still gonna go higher. So anywhere under 200, if it ever goes back down there again, I personally think it might be a pretty decent, buying opportunity, but not financial advice.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
What month is that vertical yen line? Yeah, that one right there.
That is November.
Ooh, I don't know what it is, but they have this mystical hold on me. I get really excited every time I see one of those coming up.
Yeah, I mean that is election time too, and stuff will happen, right? But
Yeah.
it's interesting how it's all lining up perfectly with the angle two and the line and the horizontal level. Like maybe a massive explosion, then who knows? We'll
Yeah.
see.
It's entirely possible. I mean, it looks like the 20-month is building up something. It's really possibly sloping and the Bollinger Band's expanding. So
Yeah.
yeah, I
There's
think
like
it's all.
literally nothing negative about the IWM like on any time frame really, except for like the weekly it's below some levels, but that's just temporary.
Yeah. Cool, man. You want to move on to uh Palantir, NVIDIA. I think somebody asked about NVIDIA SMCI. Then we can talk about like Bitcoin correlated assets. Somebody asked about MSTRs. We can talk about Bitcoin after that.
Yeah, so here's Palantir. Yeah, on the monthly basis, that's just a nice looking candle so far.
That was a great earnings report reaction.
Yeah, super great for a meme stock.
Three,
You should look
38%.
at Snowflake, which is like Chris Patel's favorite. I
Is
think
it?
it's just made like a lower low
Oh
today.
God,
Oh,
that's so cute.
Yeah, I know. It's not. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, this is such a healthy thing that is happening with the monthly candle, and it even successfully backtested the conversion line. And yeah, it just looks like it's ready to finally go higher, really, after that successful backtest. But today it did what? We closed at 26.59. It did lose steam a little bit today, right? If we go to the daily chart, let's look at that. Yeah, so it basically opened up pretty nicely, but it went back just to test the baseline, which is a healthy thing too. So I think this could probably continue higher up and towards like the angle above and possibly beyond. So I think it's looking pretty good on all time frames, really. Yeah,
can't believe it went all the way back to 21. I
I know.
said, I had that triangle. I was like, it might be a really great time to buy at 21. It's like, well, I'm probably not going to go back there. And it didn't do the triangle thing, but it did go back to 21. This is nuts.
Yeah, shoulda loaded up
Like
the truck there, huh?
all these people that like spent like weeks and months, holding on as it like, slowly climbed from 20 up to like 25. And then any yokel could have just bought it at 21 on what was it, Tuesday, and then had it up to 28 last night. Crazy.
Yeah.
28. How did it go? How high did it go in the after market?
I think it went up to
Oh my
30
God.
something.
Yes. Not,
You mean like yesterday after
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
brought that
After the
high?
earnings.
I
Let's
thought it
see.
only like I thought it was
No,
like I
oh
thought it was like
yeah.
28 something. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, it was like 28. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think it went up that high. But anyway,
it went high. It went really high.
yeah.
Because I
I just
remember your
gotta
friend A was saying, he cut 25%.
if he was a trader, I mean that's a good spot to do it. He's not wrong,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, right at the top of that cloud or something. Like, okay, it's probably
Yeah.
gonna sell off, and sure enough, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just not a trader, like if yeah, there's a lot of things to tell you that you should have sold there if you're a trader, but I'm not one, so
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm gonna share my chart here. I'm just gonna show a couple of things. It would be like
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um yeah, the only thing I want to show is this pitchfork over here that I
I
drew.
saw your pitchfork. You brought out the old pitchfork. I was
Yeah, I
excited.
mean, like I drew this before the price action happened, this week, but the week's price action is basically just right inside this area over here, So I really thought that 27 was going to be like pretty strong resistance because I didn't think it was just going to push through this area, and it came all the way back test down this area over here, and I thought that was going to be a pretty good support zone, and sure enough, it was. It got pretty close to like the Subichi cloud. I guess it just kind of bounced right off of that. And it's a perfect back test almost of the Subichi cloud after a breakout. The Ichimoku didn't really look as nice. Like it's just still, like it couldn't quite get there. But in the Subichi, it just looks super nice in terms of like breakout back test. That's what it did. So yeah, ready to go higher. How high is it going to go? Well, it breaks above this resistance over here around 27, maybe 35, just like you said, you know, up here.
Mhm.
So I think things make sense. If you're talking about whether or not there's enough juice for it to keep moving up forward, I would say let the monthly Bollinger Band is expanding, and I think maybe like the next month or so is probably gonna let it go to the 30s. It just simply had a hard time allowing that because it was just right underneath like here Bollinger Band was like in the 29, right? It tried to break out, it just couldn't. But right now the upper Bollinger Band is expanding, so I think you're allowing price to go to the 30s by the end of the year. That's
What's
kind of
the
what I'm
2 week
seeing.
chart look like? I'm just
2 chart looks
curious
great.
now.
Just back
Well,
tested the
we'll
median part of it. I mean,
yeah,
it's actually interesting. I actually like the 2 week chart. It's like the belly button theory. It
yeah.
it it back tested the Tenkan
It's,
and Kijun right on like this 2 week candle over here, and it held, right? So it's a very, very bullish look to it. I love hammer, just like what Matt was saying. Even at the monthly looks like a hammer back testing the Tenkan here, and it
mhm.
held, right? So these things are bullish looking. Like some people say there's like a hammer top, like I don't really buy that. Like usually these like hammer top they usually don't work out very well. Yeah. I think
Yeah, you're
I
talking
think yeah,
about
yeah.
if
But you
you're
look
a
at where the
day
wick is
trader,
like,
it's a hammer top on a 15-minute candle, and you're still in minute 1 of the
yeah.
15-minute candle. So
Yeah, but I mean
we're
I honestly don't really buy the whole concept of hammer top. So anyway, I'm gonna
mm,
stop share. But those are my Palantir thoughts. I think I see it at resistance. If it's gonna break around like 27, then it's probably going to like maybe like low 30 to 35. Maybe
here
within
is
weeks to months. That's what I think. So
here is my Palantir chart, and it's I see it as being in a long channel as well. Let me just double check that this is. Yep, this is
yeah, I mean
linear
it's
arc.
basically pitchfork, you know. That's
Yeah, yeah. Your fork works really well on this. I had this little triangle thing. It kind of busted the triangle, so I'm gonna get rid of it. But what it does do is, to me, when I see a channel and price breaks out below the channel on one side, then I expect all that energy is going to make it break above the channel to the other side next. So I would look for a big move that would break the top of this channel in the near future. Um, it's the kind of symmetry I look for with these channels until it just decides to change the channel.
Changing the channel, huh? Like the
Yep.
TV.
My next, I'm still looking for 3516 for the 150% extension off of this let's see, the December 23rd low to the August 1st high, and then back to this let's see, that's this $13.68. So yeah, from like 592 to 2028, 1368. So the extension off of that, I'm still looking for. You already got the 1, 2, yeah. 3516 next is my target for before it has to retest back to 3138.
yeah, that was a heck of a wick all the way down to the 21. So
It was. And oh, I stopped sharing so fast, but I was going to say that it's not unusual, really. When you have a 1, 2 like this, it
mhm.
just basically it made a fake out for the wave 2 bottom, but didn't break it, and now it can continue higher. So it's a big shakeout down here, and then now it's going to go way up here. Yeah, a lot. You can have like a 1, 2 like this, and then everything between the 2 and the 3. Oh my God, it could just go all over the place. You can have
Yeah.
it like do this and then come back. No, it really, and then it like does this and like that, and then it goes like that. Um, the only thing you don't want to see is for it to make a new lower 2. That's all. But then if it does, then you just I just make a new chart then and just have new extensions. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. As, between this 2 and this 3, it can literally go anywhere it wants as long as it stays below the 3 and above the 2. And often it does. It often does go everywhere it wants to go. So crazy
As
wick
long as it doesn't go
here,
backwards in
wick
time.
there, wick here, wick down here, and then close 3516. You do all these things. So fun for traders. nothing to worry about if you're holding it for the long term. What do you want to talk about now?
Let's talk about NVIDIA and then talk
Okay.
about SMCI. Um, yeah, if you guys have an NVIDIA chart you want to share, feel free. I don't have anything new.
I think I do have a new NVIDIA chart actually, now that you mention it. So
I mean, I'm still in the camp. I think NVIDIA, actually, NVIDIA, there's a good chance that this might be it. But but I can also see it going sideways for longer.
the new NVIDIA chart, time frame, daily. Oh yeah, here we go. This is it. So move this picture over here. I see a dog and a cat in the window over here. So since we got a deeper wave two where it came all the way down to 90 81, I decided to change my chart setup here. And so I went ahead and I went all the way back in time when NVIDIA had a low of 1080. I went back to this one to for so from this high in March of 2024 to this low here in April. Yeah, these are daily candles. And then so the high we just hit, I'm calling that wave one. And the low we just hit, I'm calling that wave two. And so based on that Fibonacci extension, I'm looking for 195.27 next. It's just getting kind of crazy because remember, I do this parabolic thing, and like on the way there, it's got to hit about 289 and then 398. And look, here's 288.54.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I don't
that
think it's
price.
crazy. I think it's just maybe a little bit too fast, but I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Of course, my charts don't predict timing, but oh, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Since whenever I see a big move up and then a big move down, I just get excited and I think that's just a new one too. And I like to make a new extension. And so, here's Matt's. Here's the 160 level right here, about the 100%. And so it could easily do a minor degree 1, 2, 3 right up to 100%, and then spend a long time in a wave four. And so, this might look like a top for a while, 162.19, and it retraces down to the 142 level. And, if theory of alternation, if this wave two is short, and this wave four will be very long, and then it's going to feel like we topped out here, but then eventually run back up again to this 195. I just can't. I would love to see NVIDIA hit 400. It's like $4,000, before split. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's my new NVIDIA chart. I wanted to share with you guys. I get really excited when I see a big move down like this. I think, well, that's just a 1-2. More opportunity in the future.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand, whenever you have a downtrend in a overall like higher time frame bull market, this is actually very exciting.
This is very exciting. And then what's really terrible is if it gets down, if it makes a new lower low, that would be awful. So a retest of 75 wouldn't be the end of the world. It just would spend a lot of would just blow a lot of time. So my wave two bottom is down here 75.60. So we could get a price. I'm not saying it's going to go there, but we can go all the way to 175.60, and it's still, this chart still applies.
Yeah.
It's still nothing changes until we get some lower low than 75.60, which I don't see in the future. I'm very excited about this one too.
Yeah. It looks like a nice flush. That was much needed.
195.27.
And it back tested it's basically back testing the same horizontal level that it was previous resistance and turned into support. Like everything is very nice about it, unless it breaks down, of course. So
yep. This is my Gantt chart. I made this. I think I made this. Wait, no, actually, I'm not sure. Did I copy this? Maybe I copied this one from Matt. It probably doesn't look like one of his. I can't remember where I got this Gantt chart from. I want to say I stole it. I want to try to say I made it with Matt's class. Oh yeah, look, remember this human progress? What does it feel like to stand here? And here we are, and then it just goes crazy, and it's already started to go crazy.
Yeah.
Monthly chart. This much craziness. This much isn't that much more crazy at all.
Yeah.
Asymptotic explosion when they can't sell enough chips. They can't make enough chips for all the demand out there, for the legal and illegal demand. China's been smuggling them through the black market. All those newer chips that the U.S. says that China's not supposed to have. They're getting tons of them. They're just buying them through third parties and smuggling them into China through shell companies and stuff. Just more grist for the mill to make everyone else want to buy them. And now the U.S. has to buy like twice as
Yeah.
many chips because they need to beat China.
Yeah. I mean,
We've got a
you
lot of
just,
smart mathematicians in China.
yeah. I mean, you just had like price from like the November 2021 top plumbing all the way down to like the October 2022. That was like a negative what like 70 some percent move. And it's like just a bleep on the chart, you know. It's just,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So I mean, inevitably there's going to be another like crazy 60, 70, 80% move downwards. It's going to go like, you know, like 50,000% or something like that over time. So yeah, anyway. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
well,
pull up
that's me.
Yeah,
Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna pull up my Bollinger Band. I'm just gonna spend like 1 minute on mine. Again, I don't have anything else new. I'm just basically giving you guys an update, and there's what I'm seeing. Because I've always thought that whenever the low Bollinger Band stops expanding, that's when the trend is start to exhaust, right? And right now it's really been doing that. So it stopped expanding around June 2024. So I think that's probably the point where I think trend is starting to exhaust. By what I mean by trend exhaustion is not so much that it won't go up any higher. It just means that the trend was so powerful that it's no longer as powerful moving forward. So I do not think that it's going to make another 10x, you know, from here on out for the bull market. I can see it maybe, you know, 2.5, 3, or maybe even 4x from where it's at, but I don't really see it necessarily, you know, pushing up that much higher, just because every single cycle, every single bull trend, there's going to be, you know, some escape velocity, but there's also going to be some slowing down, and you're going to have a correction just to make sure that, you know, people are not over leveraging things like that. Even on the 20-month moving average, you're starting to see that, you know, starting to not be as accelerative, right? Like you can start to see maybe a little bit more of like a little bit of exhaustion. I see this very, very similar spot over here as this area over here when the Bollinger Band stops expanding, you know, and kind of, you know, kind of price sideways. So I actually thought that price was probably going to end up going sideways here for months, but I have reasons to believe that it may not end up doing that. It's just keep going up, but it's not as, you know, strong. The same thing over here on the other bull market here. You know, whenever the Bollinger Band stopped expanding in January 2017, that's like that candle right there. You know, it went sideways
Yeah.
for a few months. And then next thing you know, it kept making another 2.5, 3x, and then they're trying to exhaust, you know. Same thing here, exhaustion, 2.5, 3x, and then, you know, bear market. So I think we're right around the same spot based on the monthly Bollinger Band. But I don't think that it's going to be that much more sideways anymore necessarily. It could, but it doesn't have to, because last time when this sideways move over here, it was way overextended above the conversion, and it just had to go sideways to wait for conversion to catch up. Same thing over here. It was just way over the, you know, conversion. I had to wait sideways for like months for it to catch up. But we're not at that boat anymore. It looks like we're already back tested the conversion and we're holding. So like minimally, I think I can see it maybe like back test the conversion again for another month or two. I can see that, and the trend might continue to get exhausted, but it's probably going to keep going up just because it's such a powerful bull trend that still has some juice left. So I can potentially see it maybe like at least like 250, 300, maybe 400. And I think that would probably be the end of the cycle. You're probably going to end up seeing like a Danny yellow candle on the monthly. So that's it.
Very cool.
Matt, you're awake?
I'm here.
Man, if I was your wife, I would say you didn't answer the question, but yeah.
Well,
Do you want to
that
pull
does
up your
happen.
NVIDIA? Give a little bit of update.
Give a little update. I mean, there's not much
Yeah,
to update really. So, but yeah,
yeah.
no, but yeah.
I know
Okay,
his
yeah,
So
internet is kind of breaking up a little
with
bit.
the influence,
yeah.
what's
Matt's
breaking up?
breaking up.
Me, my voice.
Yeah, you were breaking up a little bit.
It
Yeah,
was your
but
internet. It is your signal.
yeah, just when I talk about
Yeah, I
marriage,
don't know.
I
Can you hear?
guess.
Yep, I hear you, and your screen is sharing. So
Can
go
you hear?
ahead.
Everything's
Yeah,
okay now.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
If you can't hear me well, just interrupt me.
Okay.
So that'll be okay. Yeah, but essentially, yeah, I just saw using the GAN alone, you can take off the Ichimoku here, and it basically went to backtest the bottom arc, and that was also a previous level of the previous all-time high back here in March of 2024. So I think that could be all she wrote, really. And if you do put that Ichimoku back on, that is it is breaking back above the baseline, which is a positive thing. But all it did on the monthly chart was just go back down to that conversion line, right there, and successfully tested. So I think this is the range right now, right? The range is basically between 93 and maybe where the 45 is. So I think that is the big range, and once it breaks 110 again, then it can probably continue higher and higher to like the 140s and beyond. So that's what I see.
okay. Yeah, so stuck in a range and possibly going sideways a little bit longer. Yeah, makes sense. Checks out.
What's your what's just above that again? If you pull your chart down a little bit and look higher above, did you have a line up there for 160? I can't remember what it was.
Oh yeah, that was the 3.618.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, that was what the heck's going on?
I don't know, man.
I think it is his internet connection. I think it's just like
Yeah, I think that's
having a
internet.
little, it's just
What am I
stuttering a
gonna
little bit.
do? This whole show depends on Matt Nems. Yeah, I think his
And
internet's being a little bit funky.
hmm,
You got an SMCI chart?
yeah, can you hear me okay, or is
Yeah,
I hear
we
you
this
can hear
fine.
you. We can hear
Yeah, I
you.
can hear you fine.
okay?
It's just a little bit choppy, but I can hear you fine.
Okay. So this is I made a post earlier in my group here that essentially this is what I kind of see is going to happen because after hours it was like right around the 540s, right? And it's
Hmm.
if you look at this chart here, I'll go back to the weekly chart so you can see it better.
I thought I
But
saw an arrow pointing all the way down to the 300s, but
yeah, that's what I did point that out. Yeah. In my group.
what are you
Basically
doing to your group?
I'm saying if this angle doesn't hold, it's going to come back down to this orange angle. That's what I'm saying. And essentially, that orange angle kind of coincides with the arc and this previous all-time high back here in August of 2023, because it just had a monster move, and now it's just doing like an ABC correction. So it needs to find a lower low, right, or a higher low, I should say, from here, and wherever that'll be. If it's going to be this blue angle, great. If it's not, then it's going to probably come back and test the 370s, I think. That's what, yeah, it could be a lot more pain ahead for SMCI, especially it's going on the bottom side of the cloud as well for the weekly chart for the first time in a very, 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 very long time, right? Couple of years at least.
Yeah.
So basically, this is the first time it actually touched the cloud in a long time, and now it's probably going to go on the bottom side of it. So if a weekly candle does close maybe below 550 or so, then I think all of this is going to turn into resistance, and it could just roll over to below 400. That's what I kind of see now. So it's not really optimistic. I was optimistic when it was up here, but then things kept falling and falling. But I mean, the good news is like this chart is still like on a high time frame. It still looks really good because it just exploded really high, and now it's just trying to find a new base somewhere, wherever that's going to be, right? And it's not even a bearish chart still. It's still a very bullish chart, but it just exploded really high, maybe too quickly. So now it's just consolidating to find this new higher low.
This week needs to turn that into a wick. Once
Yeah, I mean, if it does turn into a wick and then comes back up, then I'll ignore this scenario down here. But if it does close below like that 550 level, I think there is a possibility of going sub 400 at that point.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on what the Japanese market does, right?
Yeah, kind of, pretty much, right?
No, but
But
it's yeah.
no matter what, like if you have patience, which I have lots of patience, I think it's still going to go a lot higher in the future. That's why I'm still bullish on it. But in the shorter term, just could be some pain, you know? So
Do you find it potentially holding that blue angle still? And I mean, it looks like it's still trying to do that. Even after hours, sure, it went down like well, like more than 10% or something like that. But
yeah.
who knows? Like these shenanigans, like what I don't know. Like
Yeah, I
because
mean,
even early after hours, it went up, right? And then next thing you know, it just plummeted down. So who knows?
yeah, it certainly is possible. So we'll see. Like, yeah, I saw a blonde broker talking about it. Like she bought down on the fives and sold after hours like above 700 or something like that. That's a good trade.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a really good trade. So she
What's that?
played it very well.
What's that blue line? What's the price level of that this week?
This one
The one,
or
the price we want to close over there. That line right there.
like 550, 551,
Okay,
just
cool.
around there. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
That's what I really want to see. But yeah, this has been disappointing ever since like it opened a candle below the Tenkin and the Kijin, whatever conversion line baseline. And after that, it just went straight down. Then now we have a bearish cross too. So it's just whatever happens here, there's going to be a lot of resistance back above, anyways. So
Yeah. Probably going to range. Like my best guess right now, depending on what happens tomorrow, but it looks like it wants to range maybe between like, 500 to 700 maybe, but
yeah,
who knows? Um, I mean, like I don't want to just assume it break down underneath one level and it's just going to break down to the other, you know.
yeah. I
That
mean,
would be
is there any support there at all? I mean, it's even breaking below the 50 moving
yeah,
average, right?
yeah,
And see, I'll look at more coincidence or confluence, whatever you want to call it. 368 is the 100 week down there. What about on the monthly chart? All those moving averages are way down there. So you can just see how far this chart, like how high it shot up in such a quick amount of time.
yeah.
So whatever's happening now is just normal. And there's even still a chance that this could just be a scary down here, and it still could close back above the baseline up here, which would be the most bullish case scenario for the monthly chart. So we'll keep an eye on that 633 level for a monthly close at the end of August.
Almost think it needs to. Like
Yeah,
initially, I
it
agree
does.
with you. It looks like a very, very good bull flag, but then it's starting to break down underneath the baseline on a monthly. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see, we'll see. But like that's also how a lot of charts are looking in the months only like 5 days into it or 4 days into it, trading day wise. So who
There is
knows?
a pivot point level. The weekly R2 on the pivot point is 524.74 for super micro. And if it should lose that, my moving average 75 is at 464.73. So it could, if it starts to think about going to the 100 moving average at 368, it'll have to touch 464.73 first. If it decides to try that route.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Like this week is important, I think.
Yeah.
I would love to see it close back above that 50 week, but at least close it back above this blue angle here, 550. That's what I think.
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to add to this chart. I mean, um it's a little bit scary too, as this is also how a lot of charts are looking on the weekly. If you do the weekly bull in Japan, um, it almost looks like price wants to drop down further, and I hate to be bearish about it, but it almost looks like price wants to drop down lower, but the Bollinger Band on just hasn't expanded enough for price to go down further yet. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah. And yeah, price after hours is like down here too. So
Yeah.
basically that will make the Bollinger Band expand downwards more, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but on the other
So
hand, it is also at a at an angle support, and I do think it's a little bit too far overextended to the downside, in like all these shorter time frame.
yeah.
So yeah, who knows? I mean, I just want to see your angle there holding
Yeah,
for
I
the
think
Yeah, I
it's
bullish
want to
just
see
the
that
next
too.
thing it would want to do is it would want to go back and test your orange
Yeah.
line from
Yeah,
below.
But
yeah,
another thing is I use the -27 as a key indicator, and that's at 520. So a lot of times, if the zero level breaks, it goes down to the at least the -27. So that 520 could be where it's headed, and then maybe bounce from there. So I'm gonna watch that level too.
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to add to that. Yeah, not as bullish on it anymore. Unfortunately, it's just kind of how it goes. That's why I don't buy SMCI. It's not because I'm not saying like, oh, I'm so smart I didn't buy it. I'm just scared of like how overextended it is because you have
yeah,
to have perfect earnings, and if earnings have like any marks to it, or people just don't care about earnings, even you triple B, they're just like too far overextended. Market's correcting. The Japanese market's down. We're going to plummet this down. Like
yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah, and overall, I'm still like long-term bullish on it because the chart is still fine. Like the
Yeah,
market structure of higher highs and higher lows is still
yeah,
fine. So
yeah.
I'm not worried about it long-term, just short-term. If you can't stomach it, then you're going to be in for some surprises, I think.
Yeah. Definitely, if you buy here, definitely a lot lower risk than if you bought like in the thousands. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
like yeah, I can see myself catching this falling knife like right around 500. So I can see myself doing that, but I probably won't, um, because there's just so many other choices for me at this point. So
Oh yeah, for
yeah,
sure. What's next on the menu? Are we doing some
I,
Bitcoin or are
I
we
guess
doing
so. Yeah,
something
not
else?
many people put in requests so far, so we can do Bitcoin and MSTR. Somebody requested that we can get right to that afterwards.
Well, DK
Yeah.
was asking about Bitcoin miners currently at support. So maybe do that first or
Yeah,
No, I mean, yeah, or we can do Bitcoin and then go down to like
yeah,
the
yeah,
big.
yeah, the miners. Okay.
Yeah,
So here's Bitcoin. Oh, right at the Bollinger Band.
yeah,
Boom.
we found support right there.
Yeah.
It's a nice hammer candle looking thingy.
Yeah. And I think on KuCoin at least, Bitcoin did get to 48,000 something. So my 48,000 prediction did work out, I think, that I made that warning video a long time ago.
yeah.
Yay!
Yay. So even though on this Bitstamp chart it did not get down there. I think it got to what 49.57 or something.
Yeah, but somebody probably had like a huge order, like front running 48. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. So essentially what I see, I'm going to take this off real quick
Oh,
and
yeah, please do.
take take it off.
Kind of sad my bottom didn't hold.
And your bottom didn't hold after I took it off.
No, well,
I break down after. I don't
the
know.
bottom that I
Uh,
called it was it 54,000.
It was. I think it was a pretty good bottom though. Like anyway,
Yeah, I just was hoping it would be
yeah,
a longer lasting bottom.
yeah.
So what do we got here? Let me put that on too. So it was a perfect wick down through the 50 week, and that was the first time ever since it broke out. So if I just take off everything else, with the Ichimoku and stuff, just have the SMAs, it never backtested the 50 until now. So you can see it
Yeah,
broke out here in March of 2023, never backtested it, and finally it did. So I think that has a really good possibility of being the bottom right now. So essentially, it's just in a range. Like everything, in my opinion, what I mentioned at the very end of my live stream this morning, that I think literally everything is just in a range now, and it's kind of a wide range now, especially Bitcoin. It's kind of right in the middle, right? Like resistance is going to be that 61.3 level. Support's going to be that 50 week down at around 50,000, maybe a wick through like it did. So essentially that's it. Like nothing exciting is going to happen either way until it breaks it back above this level again, or if it does collapse below that 50 week and goes maybe down to the 48,000 like I was talking about before. So that's all I see, and there's really not going to be any excitement upwards until this angle really gets broken as resistance, which is at like now it's around like 71, yeah, around 71.3 or so. So nothing really is going to get exciting until that is broken, but just a big range so far and probably more sideways because if you do put on that Ichimoku, there is that bearish cross of the conversion line baseline right there. So that's going to be resistance and even more resistance with that line right there as well. But one thing I want to point out is on log scale here. Oh, CrowdStrike. Look at that. Right at resistance. Okay, sorry, got distracted. Yeah. Anyways, where was I? Let me take out the Ichimoku here on log scale. It back tested my arc on log scale, which I love to see, right? So that's even more confluence that this arc that once was resistance back in the past here at the all-time high back in 2021, it did wick above. Now it finally wicked below. So I think that is our max pain that we just saw.
Yeah.
I think this is going to really hold. I believe we're not going to go lower than that 49 or on KuCoin 48,000, whatever. I think that's it. And possibly could it come back down and scare more people and just freak people out for a few more weeks? Yeah, it could do that. But I think it's going to hold. And I think that it's just going to be in a big range until it's ready to break out.
Matt, I got a request for you. Pull
Yeah.
back up the Ichimoku cloud if you can. And I want you to tell me what happened the last time when you had a bearish weekly taking Kijun cross.
Oh, yeah. It was 2021 right here.
No. Before that. Before that. No, sorry, after that. After that. After that.
Right here. Right here.
Yeah. So around September 2023.
September 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Right here. Yeah.
Yeah. What happened after that? You had a katana.
You know,
You had a katana, and the price just shot up.
so you want the katana to show up so it can slice through
Actually, you
heaven.
do. Actually, you do. Because
Okay.
of this move, I think a katana is likely to happen. Because
Well,
the 9 is going to engulf the 26. I don't know whether or not that makes sense to you or not. I bet it does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the 9 average and the 26 average. Yeah, I know.
Exactly. Because of
Yeah.
that, the 9 is going to engulf the 26, and you're going to end up having a katana.
And then you're gonna end up having a $2 million Bitcoin, is what you're saying. I agree. Yeah.
like yeah, I mean I got into like the whole like katana theory, in my other videos. I'm not going to get in depth into it, but I think it's actually good to have like these kind of crazy short-term volatility before big move up. I don't know, like you would think that the 48,000 was a big move, but like honestly it was just within like a couple of days you just have like a hammer. So um
So far,
I'm
it's a
not
hammer. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not sure because you had the bearish cross back in September 2023. Price was underneath of that. You have a hammer looking kind of candle underneath of it. So I don't know. Like it looks like it's max pain. It looks like capitulation, and
Well, that's what I think too. Yeah.
yeah. So but I can totally see it going sideways and touch a climb go up. Sure. That
Yeah.
was yeah.
But that katana theory is good. And I think Tesla has a possibility of getting a katana too if it can close back the month above it too on the monthly chart. So going back to Tesla. But that's future talk for Tesla, not anytime soon. But yeah, so essentially the way the log scale chart and the linear scale chart, they match up kind of perfectly with that 50-week moving average, everything for retesting it for the first time since it broke out. I think that is the bottom, but I don't think it's ready to break out until this katana is ready to form, right?
Yeah. So to answer some of these questions, whether or not Bitcoin is going to top before have a new top, I guess new all-time high is what you're asking before the election. I think the answer is uncertain, which is the safest answer.
I
But
think that's the answer for every question. It's unclear.
it's stuck in a range until it isn't. But a powerful move may be happening, and when it does, it doesn't matter to me whether or not it's before or after the election. That's my answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's a politician answer. I didn't answer the question, so
Yeah, way to be
I've got
political.
I've got a
Good
crazy
job.
Bitcoin chart now that I just made.
Yeah, go ahead and show it.
Nothing to back it up other than just fibs.
I want to see it.
Let's see. So I just said, well, let's go back to the beginning of time when Bitcoin was $11. You could buy a pizza. I think it was $1 at one point, wasn't it? You can. Somebody spent 10 Bitcoins for a pizza once.
I think it was like 50 cents at one point too.
Oh my God. So if this is a one and this is a two, because I try to do like this as a 1, 2, and this was like 361% or yeah, 361%, 3618. And so I couldn't really go much higher with that. But if I took this, I sort of did a reset. I'm going to temporarily call this a one. I'm sorry, wave start 1, 2. And if we wave start off of that and call like this was the new baseline low at 15,000, then we could go to 94,000, back to 71,000, 130,000, 107,000, and on up to 188,000. And I just kind of see like this long trend kind of continuing maybe of Bitcoin sort of hanging around this channel. This happens a lot of times. I see like this a big channel trend that just kind of hangs out for a while until total collapse when it just loses it. Hopefully that'll be like way way out in the future. Anyway, just something interesting to think about.
The super cycle.
The super cycle, right?
The Tesla tracker Bitcoin super cycle.
Yeah, let's see if we can. What's each one look like? The scale could happen. Here's the week. Here's on the month. It's going to look weird. Yeah, this doesn't really work out for the month time frame.
Hey, Tracker, have you ever ran a trend fib on this for Bitcoin from the June 2021 low to the high back down to the November 2022 low?
It's so many. Let's try that. I think I did do that once.
And it's right back. It's right back at the one level right now. Right back at it.
Right back at you.
Wait, I want to turn the Agent off.
Yeah. So if you
so
go
like from the all-time low.
No, the June 2021 low.
Just start with June 20.
Yeah, on linear scale. Yeah. And then you go up to the all-time high in November 2021.
And in the wrong year, 2021. You mean this March low?
No, that's 2001. You're at 2001.
You want 2021?
Yeah, just 2020, like right there, that low to
Oh, okay.
to that previous all-time high down to the low back in November of 2022.
Oh, well, Fibonacci extensions don't work. You can't have a lower low and have it work out that way. You've got to start. It's got to have a lower low, a higher high, or sorry,
okay.
a wave start, higher high, higher low.
Okay.
As soon as you have this, then it doesn't really work for fib extensions anymore, unless you're going in that direction. Unless you're going down.
I want to show you a chart.
This has got to be below your wave 2 price.
Yeah, I want to show a chart that kind of actually fits what you're thinking.
Stop button.
Whenever you're done, of course.
I'm done. I'm trying to find the stop button. I can't.
Yeah, I actually want to show you gold. This is GLD, and this is Bitcoin. Like gold on top, Bitcoin down bottom. The time frame is a little bit different. The top is these are like 2-week candles, and obviously it spans a lot longer years. And underneath is Bitcoin. This is a weekly chart. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. If you so I think the ETF for gold was in like 2004, and I think the Bitcoin ETF didn't really come until like much later on this chart. But I just see a lot of like kind of similarities. If you kind of look at in terms of like fractal, it just looks like there's a lot of similarities between the two.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I don't know whether or not this matches like the Great Financial Crisis or anything, but it just looks like very similar in terms of that. And if you look at like your um daily wave projection, I can totally see it doing what you said it was going to do. But if it does that, it might happen in the span of like the next 18 months. So that's all I wanted to share.
That's cool. Does the gold price seem to move with the money supply as well?
No, not anymore, actually.
Okay.
It really has lost its correlation for the span of like the last decade and a half. So yeah, I mean I can look at it real quick. EOSM2. Let me see. I'm gonna share back here real quick, just to take a look at that. Like it really lost its correlation. Let me see if I can line them up here. This is 2005. This is 2000, yeah, roughly around there. Um, yeah, I really kind of lost its correlation. Like US money supply just kept going up, and then gold was just really lagging for like a whole decade and just formed a big giant cup. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just well, gold's kind of boring now. It's just like a big, it's just a commodity. Like anything else,
Yeah, but
you
but
use
it's
for
just kind
electronics,
of
and that's about it.
yeah, but it was kind of interesting with the ETF that happened and then like what happened afterwards. Gold really did have a super cycle because of it, but we'll see. Matt, you there?
I'm here.
We need you again to pull up
What a
the somebody asked about MSTR, and then we can slowly talk about or quickly talk about a few of Tracker's favorite miners. And then somebody asked about EOSE as well. So we're
okay.
gonna
Here
we're gonna
is.
start our lightning round.
You
Woohoo.
can't play the music though because it's illegal, I guess. Yeah.
I'll do a little different version, like bound,
Bump,
bound, bound,
bump.
bound, bound,
Yeah.
bound, 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 bound. There you go. Lightning round,
So
yay.
so it's back above my support again. Yay, because I was like when it opened there,
Yay.
I was like, no, this is not good. But then bam, that was just a psych, right? And then it came back up. So this is what I want to see. I wanted to see exactly this happen. Now I want to see it hold. So basically 1200 is the target. Anything above that is golden for higher, which is also a bull case for Bitcoin as well, if that is the case. So I think that's good. So it's still confirming that this previous resistance here is now a support. So I like it a lot.
I want
And with
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
what's that?
No, go ahead. I have a request
No,
after you're done.
yeah, just with the Ichimoku, it's also back above the baseline rate too. So
Maybe
yeah.
that's what Bitcoin's gonna do. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe this is gonna have a katana too. Oh, somebody said, what is a katana? Sky River Walker. You want to explain
I
that,
mean, yeah,
Cal?
so I have a video on my channel. Basically, if you have the blue line and the red line kind of fused together, it basically just means that price is consolidated for a very, very long time, and that the recent price action was very volatile to cause the red line and the blue line to come together. So a big move is coming, and it really depends. You have to look at other clues to figure out which way the big move is going to come. So there's no guarantee there's going to be a katana, but there are certain charts that looks like they might be. Um, yeah, it looks like MSTR maybe forming Katana soon. We'll see. We'll see how it works out.
Yep. Katana is specific to the Ichimoku indicator when the baseline and the conversion line merge for a period of time.
Yeah, yeah.
What do they call it?
You can really
What do they
find
call
that
it
on.
when the moving averages line up exactly? What do they call that? A super katana?
Flat
It's
line. And
flatline.
this
It's
is a
yeah.
Yeah.
flat line. They all merge together.
Nobody
You
cares.
got, yeah,
Yeah,
That's
nobody
got,
cares about that.
you
Okay.
got a dead stop.
my request, Matt, is to do the MSTR over BTC USD chart.
Yes, sir.
It looks super nice. Like you cannot be bearish on it. And yeah. And it's the you can look at the monthly and you look at the 2 week. Like you cannot be bearish on it. You can even pull up the Ichimoku on the monthly and 2 week chart.
So
Um,
here's the we. Oh yeah, that looks
that looks
good.
super nice, right? Just reclaim the Tenkan Kijun right off the bat. Look at the 2 week.
Two, yeah,
Look
two
at that.
week
Look at that nice
is
wick. Look at the
pretty
look at the
good.
monthly.
That's a big wick.
Yeah. Look at the monthly. That the wick is even bigger.
I like those green
Wow,
clouds.
you just
Look at
love
that.
those big wicks. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it sexy?
Yeah,
It's
it's
yeah,
yeah.
it's sexier than Danny's legs. I mean, like this is awesome.
They say size doesn't matter, but this big wick is pretty nice.
It is. Right to the
It's above the
baseline.
cloud. It back tested a lot of stuff underneath, and it bounced off the cloud. If a leverage play for Bitcoin like MSTR is doing well over Bitcoin, I cannot be too bearish on Bitcoin. Like that's kind of the way I
Yeah,
look at it. It can go sideways,
yeah,
don't get me wrong. It can go sideways, and it can consolidate a little bit longer. And
yeah.
but yeah,
But yeah, the monthly Ichimoku is literally 100% bullish, so that's really good. Yeah,
yeah. I just wanted to show you that. That's all. I figure you appreciate it.
I do appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, you dirty fox.
Thank you for showing me your big wick. I like it.
Anytime. It's a ratio, one on top of the other, and with a big wick. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, fair
and it
enough.
dipped down and it touched some dirty stuff and it bounced back. So that's
Yeah,
pretty
it's good.
yeah.
It's good to go now. So let's look at maybe some miners that are at support, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go really quickly. No, it's not. CLSK not at support. It's under
Ooh.
it's under support, right? Let's see. Mara under support. No. Riot really under support. No way. Cypher, yeah, it's kind of there, but it's still under support, right? On a monthly basis, right? Iron under support. But it did hit support of the arc. So I do appreciate that with Iron. So I don't think it's gonna go lower than that. So if it does ever gravitate down to the sixes again, I think that's a good opportunity for Iron. Let's see, Bit Farms. Yeah, it wicked through a support down here. That could be a good support zone under $2, I think. BTBT. Yeah, I think that could be around support right now. Right at the baseline, right? 290.
Yep.
So I would say yes, this qualifies as at support for BTBT. And
If
yeah,
you oh yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
no
Keep
go.
going. Keep going, Kramer.
Oh, woof. Woof. This is at support. Yeah. It even wicked down to these levels here, which is gorgeous, and it held. So this would have been better support, but this is currently at support too. And you had a question?
Yeah, if you want to do the Super Ichi Cloud on the monthly and look at the monthly
For Wolf?
for yeah for pretty much all the miners that you just did, you can turn off your GAN and just look at the Super Ichi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
if you're
Go
looking at Super E and all of them, you're saying that's at support.
yeah. Besides King's Park,
Yeah. So let's
look
see.
through them. Yeah, go for
Yeah,
Mara.
so
Yeah,
Mara
is
is at
Bound
support.
is a support.
Oh, Riot's not. Nope.
Riot's not. Cypher is.
Cypher is. Iron.
Irene is
Yeah.
right there as support. Bitfarm is.
Yeah, right there at
Yeah,
support.
yeah.
So what's better though, the Super Ichi or the regular Ichi? I don't know.
Whatever you fancy your
What?
bias.
Yeah, whatever fits your confirmation bias, that's what you got to choose.
But
Like, no, this doesn't work for me. That's not support. Okay, but this works.
the,
I'm
the,
choosing this indicator.
but the
Yeah,
truth is that you did have a lot of them had the bullish cross and you're going underneath of it.
yeah,
So the truth is like right now I'd say it's like 50-50. I cannot say that it's like super bearish. But yeah, like it looks like it's gonna work itself out, kind of like what Bitcoin is doing. I think you're right. Maybe another few weeks to kind of work itself out. I can totally see coin closing back above the
200. Yeah,
conversion line. I can totally see a lot of these end up closing above the month above the conversion line if Bitcoin ends up keep bouncing up higher, or if it goes sideways and you have like decent recovery of the market. We'll see. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. But just like when it was a support, like you think that it wouldn't break down, and now you break down, you think that it wouldn't break back above, but you had the bullish cross on your side. And if you
yeah.
look at the other indicators, like if you just look at Mara, and you just look at the monthly Ichimoku, sorry, Super Ichi, it's just range bound. Like
It
it's
really is.
doing
Yeah,
absolutely nothing for 9 months. It's just range
it's
bound.
like what's that game where the ball goes up to the ceiling and then down to the
Yeah.
floor, up to the
Boom,
ceiling,
boom,
like Pong or something. I
boom.
don't know what
Yeah,
it's called.
Pong.
Exactly what
Yeah,
you're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
ColecoVision
but
Pong.
it's just range bound. So like
yeah,
I think Super Ichi tells a better story than the Ichimoku. You know what I mean?
yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Very, very
So
true.
that's my only argument against it. But yeah.
And now is it time for the others debate? Maybe.
Yeah, what do you think?
Well, let me get my charting tools ready. Let's see here. So others, if you only use the GAN, I like it a lot, right? So
Yeah,
I would agree that you were saying that that was the low, right?
yeah,
Basically, yeah, it wicked through the arc again, which let's go back in time where we see this bottom arc as resistance and a support and a resistance and a resistance. And now after it broke out, it retested it for the very first time. So that is, it didn't retest it here almost. So it had to go lower, right? So that's why I went lower. And finally, that is. So I would agree that that would be a bottom. But I think what we're really seeing now is just it's going to probably go underneath the cloud soon, which is going to just create, I think, a lot more resistance or make a lot more time before it really starts to break out again. So yes, I think this will be support, but it still can be support on the way down too until it gets to this orange angle, right? So maybe in September it could get to these lower levels and make alts really capitulate, right? And then finally go up. So and also around this level here would also still be maybe around the same level as this wick too at the bottom. So that is a possibility, but I don't see any kind of upward pressure for alts really anytime soon. Especially if it starts to open candles underneath the cloud, then I think at least the conversion line up here will be a pretty big resistance at 212. So yeah, from 179 to 212, like that could seem like the excitement comes back, I think, but I think eventually it could start to roll over again. That's what I say.
It's technically in the cloud right now, though, right?
Yeah, but if it doesn't like shoot up right away and then weeks to come, it's going to start opening candles underneath the cloud for like the first time in a long time, like since back down here.
Yeah.
So I think that'll just add more resistance. And it looks like this cloud here is about to flip to red as well. So that'll just be
Yeah.
a bearish trend start, you know? So we'll see. But the good news is I like how this is confirmation of a support. But the bad news is I think that this could trickle down to at least the orange angle. And if you look in the past, look how important that orange angle has been as well, right? Even back here, it was kind of like a wick through the high, you know, back
Yeah.
in 2018. So yeah, I just think that this is a possibility that we got to look out for, that this angle could get back tested eventually in the months to come. So that's what I think.
fair, fair, fine. I won't argue with you then.
No, I show your chart. I want to see your
No, I mean,
your
I
bullish.
think it was just more how do you say that? I don't think anybody really knows. You know, right now on the short term is the downtrend. I was posting this chart over at on X, and it just seems like you know we basically are showing three different bull cycles here, and this current bull cycle has been going on probably for like about a year and a half or so. What the top part here you're seeing is the others chart, and the bottom part right here is the S&P 500 chart. It just seems like every single time we have a bull market, before everything runs up, you have like this rotation where for some reason like S&P 500 could go down for like months on end, and you have like crappy altcoins like meme coins, whatever, like just kind of shoot up for a few months, and then like it would get pretty bullish on both, temporarily, and next thing you know, you have a rotation away from like crap coins. All of a sudden, nobody wants crap coins anymore for like months, and then you have like S&P 500 continue to go up, and just kind of rotate into that. And then after that, you have like a little bit of consolidation, and then after that, you just have everything. It just go up, very bigly. Same thing over the last cycle. I think it was a little bit interrupted by COVID, where you have like that big giant, wick down, but you have the same rotation that happened. Altcoins first. I don't know, why is anybody buying altcoins in like February 2019? I don't know. But then S&P 500 just kind of went like down and sideways, a little bit. And then next thing you know, altcoins rotated out, and they go back to the stock market. And next thing you know, COVID happened, and the next thing you know, money printer burr, just everything just kind of go up. I think we're having a very similar thing. I think this cycle is just a little bit slower because the US M2 money supply is just, trending up slower. So I think the cycle is just like slower and is really making a lot of people a lot more impatient. But like you're basically seeing the same thing, like around July of 2023 through like October, everybody in the stock market was like screaming. And then like people who were holding Dogecoin were like, yeah, whatever, stock market crash. And then next thing you know, everything kind of ran up. And then now you have like altcoins rotating out to like the stock market. And now you have like a little bit of like a consolidation sideways. So, I think it's close. I'm not saying that it won't go down further because this is a monthly chart, right? I'm not saying they won't go down further, but it just seems to be at a inflection point that we might be close. On top of that, like if this candle here on the weekly, if it closed this week similar to this, that'll be pretty bullish, right? Especially if you're talking about like a hammer candle inside the cloud, if you even like, close to like the or even close like above the cloud or something like that, I think it'd be a very bullish candle even if it's underneath like a negative sloping Tenkan Kijun, volume is also there. I mean, like so far we still have another few more days to the week, you know. So this really is like a pretty nice kind of capitulation hammer bottom candle. Just looking at the formation of it. Could it go down further? Yeah, like you can't just guarantee that like a hammer candle is not gonna, it's gonna be the bottom, right? Look at like how many hammered bottom candles Neo had, right? One, two, three, four, five.
Well,
And
it is an IO, so
so you can't necessarily rely on like candle pattern, but it's just a counter argument saying that hey, I think we might be at a pretty decent point here.
I'm sorry, are you saying there's a possibility of an everything rally?
There's a possibility everything rally. Like you're
Yeah.
not wrong in the sense that yeah, the technicals right now is not favorable because looking at the monthly, like it's under even you had the bullish cross, it's like underneath all the support over here. It's just kind of dangling down there, right? But so did Tesla, right? Like so did Tesla. Like you just got underneath of everything. And all you need is just time and a little bit of capitulation. And I think that there is a possibility if we end up closing a month on the other's chart, it make like a nice hammer out of it. Even if we don't close back about the base, I think it would be a pretty strong case that we are close to the bottom. Now, that could take weeks, and that, in the meanwhile, the candle can look like this again and then look like this again. So you're not wrong in the sense, but I'm just kind of seeing, I think we're close, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's just
And the
real
U.S.
summer.
money supply is slow for now.
It's slow
It's
for now. It's slow
yeah,
for
it could just break above. Wait, no, keep the Ichimoku on there, right? Because the Fed cares about that. No, I'm joking.
it's stuck in a range. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that they're really trying, like once you start to right now we're kind of at like a bit of a acceleration phase. We're trying to get back to how it was before, not during the pandemic where they went crazy, but I think we're getting close to how it was before, like getting close to the slope that we had before all this craziness and just basically just went back into like how it was supposed to be, you
There's
know.
some, yeah, I was gonna say there's like some longer term slope. It's just trying to catch back up
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, like it's trying to catch back to where it's supposed to be. So I can totally see that the money supply is going to end up accelerating to meet that line to go up. And when that happens, like, and this fits the everything rally. Um, I don't know when exactly it's going to kick in, but it just looks like it's going to. Another thing to look at is I like the 2 week the belly button chart of the DXY to US dollar. It just looks very nice that hey, things went parabolic, way too far exhausted, break down, got rejected by multiple things for like 2 years. It looks like it's breaking down. Like this is a very bearish chart for the US dollar. So that's what I think about altcoins, I guess.
Bearish for the dollar is bullish for crypto.
Yeah, it should be, but who knows? Matt, you still doing the lightning round? You still there? Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
Yeah, yeah. I'm here. So somebody wanted EOS, right?
Yeah, I
Can you
think
hear me?
somebody asked for EOSE and then somebody asked for TLT heading into September and somebody asked for root.
Roots. All right. I'll just start with EOS here. Why not?
Yeah,
Because I have it on my screen.
tracker's favorite.
Is it Tracker's favorite? I have no idea.
Actually, yeah, one of my followers a couple of my followers really like it a lot, and it is my second largest position. No, second or third largest position now. Got like 50,000 shares of this.
Nice. Yeah, I mean it's holding support beautifully here, but it's like doing the same thing that some of the miners did, where it was like getting rejected by the top of the cloud, and then it kind of break through. And yeah, so I mean we'll see. But support's holding, but so is resistance, right? So which one's going to break first? Nobody knows. But my guess would be this cloud looks, since it's getting like thicker and thicker down here, I think it's probably going to maybe retest this angle sometime. That's what I really think. So
I'm
we'll see.
gonna
But
I'm gonna ask for the Super Ichi there instead of the Ichimoku, and that tells you a completely different story.
yeah, but it could just go sideways until the Super Ichi meets the angle too. So we both could be correct, sir.
Yeah,
Believe they
but it's
have it
back
at
testing it back tested the bottom of the cloud. It looks like it's holding. So it's
Oh,
range
that's true.
bound for now.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
range bound.
it's range bound between the tank and the cloud. So you could go down further. You're not wrong. You could go down the cloud and hit the angle. Sure. That's a
Yeah.
possibility.
At some point in time, this angle is going to get hit. Okay, sir. And when it does, I will be correct.
I believe they do have an earnings report coming up. I think it's tomorrow. It's this week.
It's in 90 days. I think they just had it, right?
Oh, did they just have it?
Yeah, they just had
Oh,
it.
I just missed it.
Well, let's
3
see
hours
what it
ago.
is after hours. Okay, it's one. Yeah, so it didn't really do much, right?
They didn't do much. All right.
I
Yeah.
like the bull market support band. Um, it looks like it you could find some support underneath, but again, it could end up going sideways to get into bar and support band into your angle, right? So
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, either way, I think it's under resistance, but it's above support, and we'll see what happens, right? That's basically
yeah,
all we can say.
yeah, range bound, don't know. Next.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
But if you look at the higher time frame, it looks like it formed a higher high, relatively what it was doing before. So
Oh yeah, yeah, for
most
sure.
likely bullish continuation after range bound. But yeah,
But I think if it did get down to that 140 or 136 level, I think that'd probably be a good opportunity. Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I think. And Root Inc. Ooh, super
yeah.
Ichi below both. Even it's back in the bull market support. Let's look at the regular Ichimoku here.
Yeah, see, sometimes the regular Ichimoku doesn't tell you as much, but
Yeah.
yeah,
But this time it does. I mean, it's holding the baseline as support at 47.
it's range
And
bound. Yeah,
yeah,
range bound. Don't know next.
yeah, range bound. Like everything in the market, from crypto to stocks, you can just say that it's range bound and it's not ready to break out and not ready to collapse yet. So just sit on your hands and make them go numb.
No comment. No comment.
The stranger, right now.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Hey, it looks like a McDonald's. So yeah, it looks like McDonald's pattern
Oh
there.
yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
M from
McDonald's
merger.
continuation. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I think. But
Da-da-da-da.
yeah,
Affirm, is it going bankrupt?
yeah, they're totally. I mean, look at like Upstart. Like he's even a crappier company. It's hard, man. Like it looks like it's gonna go to back test a lot of the horizontal zones there, and it looks like it
Oh, yeah.
broke underneath your angle. Yeah,
This is my target. Yeah,
yeah,
$21, maybe a wick below. Uh, this is not a chart that's going bankrupt just yet, though, because if you look here, it's still a higher low from here, right?
yeah.
So the market structure is still relatively bullish. It just had a big explosion up. But I think I would be interested in maybe 21 or a wick below into the 20s. I think that would be a good spot. And like just if you look even over here to these angles, it used to be a resistance zone here too. So it could be just a back test of that previous resistance and to support. So it's not like done yet, but it's approaching a support. Yeah.
Look
So I
at the
think
volume of this whole down move. Like I'm buying every week. Like the
Yeah.
lower it goes on low volume, like I think the more attractive the risk reward ratio is.
Yeah, and I really think that 21 could hold, or in
Yeah.
the 20s could hold.
There has just
Like,
been like no volume at all. There's just been a buyer strike. So
and we saw this 100 week moving average hold too. So far, it's holding. It did open below it, but it's back above it too. So I think 23 could hold. Like, it might not even get there yet. So we'll see. Like, it's looking like it's pretty close or at support, or it did open at support yesterday. You know?
yeah, I have a position I'm like down the water right now, but I look at it like there's no volume. I yeah, like all it takes just a little bit of a buyer come in and that'll be it. If
Oh yeah.
you yeah, if you look at the 2 month chart, I know like
You're getting fancy on me here. If you look
look
at
at
the if you look at the 6 month chart, it's just one bar. No.
it's yeah, and then also look at the volume too, you know. It's
Oh
like
yeah.
it looks it yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it looks like there's no volume. Nobody's selling, nobody's buying.
Yeah, and
Nobody's
it's
doing
just been
nothing.
downtrending as that's like the fourth inside candle for with like no volume. So like the lower it
You know what I
gets,
see?
yeah.
I see a nice 1-2.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So
Yeah,
so I'm
so
thinking the third wave to go all the way up to like 90.
yeah, so I think it looks pretty attractive around current price down to 21, I would say.
Yeah. I can see this thing going to like $90. But with like around like the 50-60 range as your
What's the all-time high for this thing?
it's like triple digits, man. It's
Yeah,
like 160,
170
Oh,
170.
did they have like
176 here.
Yeah.
did they have a bunch of reverse stock splits or something or
No?
no?
No,
No?
it's
Okay.
just this was just after COVID. It just took off, and everybody's like, "Yeah, buy now, pay later." Yeah, 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 and then
Yeah.
whoops.
Everything was flush with money, like you
Yeah,
buy the most
Right.
speculative stuff, and this is
You know what they did? They overpriced it. So whoever
yeah,
took it public wanted a big
yeah,
paycheck. They said, "Oh yeah, we can get this valuation for you," and
oh yeah,
yeah.
sells
I
off.
mean, yeah, I'll never buy any like IPO within like the first year and a half. Like that's not gonna be,
Well,
yeah,
you've heard me talk about it. You just wait for the 50% IPO price, and that's where you start buying in. And if it drops much below that, then you don't touch it for a while. Wait and see if it falls below 25% IPO. And after that, it's just a dead stock. It's dead to me after that.
yeah. Matt, what do you
so
think about
it's
Shopify?
Shopify. Ooh, I did like it until it did some things.
I know.
It did something all right.
Yeah, like it lost that arc as support, and
Yeah,
I don't like that at all. And like this is like an example of things that possibly want to just go lower and lower.
yeah,
So we'll see, but I don't know. Like you can look at this chart and you can see that it probably does want to go up a little bit more, maybe up to the 56s, maybe the 59s, and I don't know. I can honestly see it starting to roll over and go all the way down here again. I can see that.
yeah,
So maybe I'll just cut my losses on it and just go somewhere else once it comes back up to retest this arc.
yeah. I'm still buying. I mean, yeah, this is really more also like a fundamental play for me. Um, but yeah, turning close is starting to break down. I think I was like you heard me talking about it. I was a little bit feeling a little bit depressed about a few weeks ago. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
but we'll see because the month isn't over yet. Like maybe I'll wait till the end of the month to see because if it does close the month back above that baseline 5760, then I'll be like, okay,
yeah,
it's got some hope, right? Some hopium. So we'll see. But if it closes the month like how it looks right now, I'll probably just dump everything and just take the loss. So we'll see.
Oh, they've got their earnings tomorrow. Shop
Yeah,
does.
yeah. No,
yeah,
I'm not running away yet. I'm gonna wait till probably the end of the month. So we'll see.
What looks, makes a really good looking 1-2 is if you have a long wick at the top of the one and at the bottom of the two.
Yeah.
Um, so
Well,
far,
yeah.
no
I
wick
mean,
on Shopify.
And plus the good news is on the monthly chart, it's still making a higher low from here too. So it's like the market structure is
Yeah.
still not terrible. So there's hope, right? There really is hope, but I don't like candles closing below
Yeah.
arcs and stuff because it could lead to a trend down.
Oh, yeah, your
Also,
monthly
like,
chart's got a nice wick on the one
yeah.
up and the two down. That looks good.
Yeah,
Also,
so
like,
if this
go ahead.
go ahead. No, I'm just saying, like, if this wick and this turns into a wick, then that could be really bullish for a continuation
Yeah.
higher. So, which
Yeah.
would be good for growth stocks in general. So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to see like if you do the 2 week chart, um, and if you turn off, yeah, you do a 2 week chart. So that's the thing, right? Like is that support? Yes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too to look at it is just zoom out all the way to like 2020 as well. It's at a pretty important horizontal zone, you know.
Yeah, that's true. Like right here, this level, this
Yeah,
wick,
so are they
and right
just are
here.
they just yeah, are they just like hiding things in a 2 week Ichimoku? I mean, I don't know. I'm just
Maybe.
joking, but
Maybe.
it's not like it's not dead yet, you know?
No, it's not. That's why I'm not giving up on it yet. I'm like, okay, there's still hope. There's still
Yeah,
hope.
because you're looking at like, okay, support broken, support broken, support broken. But on the other hand, like again, the volume's also low. They're waiting, like I think there's just a bias strike, they're waiting for a catalyst. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
don't know. I can't play earnings. I don't know, like it could go down like 10-20%, I guess, but it's already down like that's what I'm thinking. Like it's been going down nonstop pretty much since February.
Yeah.
So if you have like earnings, like it went from like $90 to like $50, Like how
Oh
much
yeah.
further can earnings push it down?
Yeah. I mean, it looks like it's at support, so it probably, if you want to like risk earnings, it could be a good time to take a long. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
That's what she said.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh,
I guess
Carvana.
yeah. We we can do Carvana, and I think somebody asked about TLT, and I think we might be able to call it the night unless you guys have
Yeah.
any other requests.
Oh, there's a 2 week Carvana chart. It looks pretty glorious.
It's
Going.
freaking awesome. Like it's
Yeah.
got like if you're into the whole like inverted head and shoulder thing, it looks like a big giant inverted head and shoulder. It just broke out and just back tested and it just never looked back.
Even a cup and handle here too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
it just
what
never
about
looked back.
the? Yeah, that's true. What about the weekly chart? Yeah, even better.
Yeah,
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 there's nothing bearish about this, but do you want to chase? That's a call you guys got to make
uh,
because it's been like the time to buy was on this back test of the cloud, really, and then
yeah.
after that. So
Well, if you look at the 2 week chart too, like that show you where the resistance is going to be. It's coming up pretty soon.
yeah,
So
that 2 week chart, and then
yeah,
let's look at the monthly chart even too. Yeah,
yeah,
which is
it's
kind
yeah,
of even more
it's hitting
so.
resistance pretty soon. That's
Yeah.
exactly what happened to Shopify on the monthly, and it tanked like 40% from it.
Yeah.
It
So
got
that could
rejected
happen.
from the monthly cloud. Yeah.
That could happen here too. It gets up here, then it just tanks all the way back
Yep.
down to the 90s, right?
Yep.
That could happen as well.
Yeah.
But that would be a pretty good buy opportunity. There was no katana here though. That's sad to see.
Because it just kept going up. That's why there's no katana.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You want to
And
do
TLT?
TOT? Yeah,
Yeah.
TOT, and then we'll finish up the night.
So monthly TLT, yeah, it tried to even get to the baseline, could not so far. Let's see your fancy dancy 2 week. Yeah, that's
See?
like the top of the cloud. But it's at support though. It's at support.
It's not wrong. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
It's a support. It's got
So
a
it
nice cup and big giant handle. It looks like accumulation look to it.
yeah. But again, this week is not over. Like we saw this bullish cross right here before, and it
Yeah.
had a bullish cross again, but that was just a fake out. So what if like this candle just collapses and then it's good closes below it again? It's a possibility for the 2 week chart, right? There's 2 days left, 3 days left. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Except that I'm also bearish on the 20-year yield chart. So that's the
Yeah.
that's the
Ooh.
only thing. But the 20-year actually looks like that support. Interesting.
But yeah, it's approaching really good support. Like, when's the last time it was on top of that cloud? Like, really never in the past like couple years. I'm not
Yeah.
really going to count that. So this is the first time that it's green, besides this one here, and it's retesting support. So this is a possibility that things could continue higher.
Yeah, it really looks like a bottoming formation is happening. You had a higher low finally, and you haven't
What
really
does
had
that
a higher.
mean?
Yeah, I guess you have some like no, I don't think you really had any higher low before that. I wouldn't count those, but this really does look like a higher low back in April. So
But it's still not a higher high from here, though.
not
It's
higher
still
high.
not.
Yep.
Yeah.
If
So
yeah, equal high if anything, but yeah,
yeah. So we'll
but
see.
above the cloud, so that's always positive, you know.
But what does that mean for stocks? Danger zone, right?
Yes and no. I think you're going to run into a period that actually I can see like yields, as long as yields don't plummet. Like the market doesn't like volatility. So if bonds actually can stay grounded, then stocks and crypto would have a pretty good chance. Like the worst thing that could happen is actually like just things just become really volatile. But yeah, like yields went up today by like 1 or 2%. Not 1 or 2% percentage point, but like based on the chart, like they both went up, like the 2 year and 10 year, they both went up, and everything kind of rallied a little bit, So I think you're gonna run to a point. Like there was actually a period of time, I think a couple of years ago, during the pandemic, and everybody was confused. Like Bitcoin was going up, and like all the yields are also going up, and, and none of that makes any sense to like anybody. But anyway, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Well, I think that wraps it up, right?
Yes, I think so too. Thank you guys
Fun
as
show.
always.
Yeah, thank you. It's
Yeah,
always a pleasure.
always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I feel like we didn't argue as much as I like, but hey, it was life.
We can,
Next time.
yeah, we'll pick something to argue about next time.
All right, guys. Have a good
All
night.
right. You too.
All right.
Bye.
Good night, everybody. And thank you all for watching. And
Yeah, thank you all. Take care.
see you on the funny page.